Your Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, today we mark the launch of the first of its kind nationwide Megathon, the ESCA FinTech Megathon 2021, by the UAE Securities and Commodities Authority, under the patronage of His Excellency Abdullah bin Toq Al-Marri, Minister of Economy of the United Arab Emirates. Held under the overarching theme of reimagining the future of inclusive financial services, the Megathon will run on Fintech Galaxy's open innovation platform, Phoenix 22, from May this month, 2021, until February next year, 2022. And it will include hackathons, innovation challenges, workshops, and training focused on 8 main themes: asset management, investment advisory, digital assets, crypto exchanges, crowdfunding, Forex, eKYC, SME financing, financial inclusion, and SupTech and RegTech. I'd like to thank Your Excellencies and our strategic partners, Abu Dhabi Securities Exchange, First Abu Dhabi Bank, A'mar, and United Arab Bank, who are our strategic partners. To kick off the launch event, I'd like to invite His Excellency Abdullah bin Toq Al-Marri to take the stage and say a few words about the Megathon. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Good morning, and thank you for having me here today to witness the launch of the ESCA FinTech Megathon, the first of its kind innovation program for the UAE capital markets. For the UAE government, innovation is dispensable to keep pace with technological advancement and address the most pressing societal and economic challenges. Our strategic plans for the national economy heavily involve the digital economy, which presently contributes to 4.3% to our GDP, with expectation of goals that will significantly increase in the coming period. The UAE has a reputation for being a lab for implementing promising emerging future technology, a strong and dynamic ecosystem, a robust legal and regulatory framework, private capital availability, and human capital are all key factors in the UAE's success in becoming the leading hub for fintech startups in the MENA region. To further drive the foster innovation in the UAE has issued a number of national strategies, such as the UAE National Innovation Strategy for the Fourth Industrial Revolution, Emirates Blockchain Strategy for Artificial Intelligence, and the most prominent being the UAE RegLab. Additionally, the appointment of a dedicated minister for artificial intelligence, AI, and digital economy is an indication to our strong commitment to digital transformation. The region national vision for 2021 has a fintech deeply rooted in it, urging the UAE to grow into one of the world's leading economies and become the commercial and economic capital of 2 billion individuals. This goal will be achieved smoothly upon moving to knowledge and tech-based system. Inspecting the data, we found the UAE accounted for 47% of all financial tech deals and 69% of total funding is home to the majority of MENA region fintech startups in 2019-2020. This sector is rapidly growing across the Middle East at a CAGR of 30%. It is estimated that by 2022, about 465 fintech firms in the UAE will generate about $2 billion in investment capital funding in comparison to 80 million in just 2017. In the words of His Highness Sheikh Mohammed, he said, government entities are no longer mere operational units, but rather center for planning the future and catalyzing global innovation. We need to shift from government as a provider to government as a platform, and I always say this. In this respect, ESCA, as a capital market regulator, has a mandate to strengthen the enabling capital market ecosystem for fintech innovation, balanced with financial policy objectives by an active, holistic, coordinated approach, ensuring a maximum inclusion of finance and economic growth. In this respect, the FinTech Hackathon is welcomed as a global accepted mechanism to develop and introduce innovative solutions for our financial markets. Not only does this initiative benefit financial institutions at large, as well as the tech companies, it makes it feasible to also involve smaller companies from diverse sectors in a cluster that shares experiences and ideas for financial innovation. The pace of financial innovation and integration of financing with promising technology seems exceptional. As regulators, it is our responsibility to make sure that this innovation finds a permanent hub in the UAE. Therefore, I challenge the participants to establish a creative solution. First, for developing asset and investment management in the UAE on the back of fintech, analyzing the current state of regulation with respect to cryptocurrencies assets. What do we need to accomplish to capitalize on our strong crypto community? Using fintech innovation as an alternative method of funding of businesses are currently highly dependent on credit and personal capital investments. identifying the role of fintech in advancing the KYC procedure. How can we maximize our data and sufficient use? Exploiting the fintech to revitalize the investment culture in the UAE. How can we get more people involved in investments? Integrating fintech with supervisory and regulatory technology. I'm glad to be part of this promising initiative, which aims to put the UAE among the early leaders in fintech innovation. I wish you all the success to our sponsors and partners. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Your Excellency. Her Excellency, Dr. Mariam Butti Suwaidi, Acting CEO of ISCA. Welcome to the forum, and please take the stage.
Thank you, Marina. Good morning, everyone, and thank you for joining us today. I would like to start by thanking His Excellency the Minister for highlighting the relevance of innovation for UAE capital market and choosing ISCA as an enabler in achieving the goals and ambitions of UAE in becoming the regional leader in fintech innovation. A study by Ernst & Young states that emerging markets are more innovative than developed markets and are leading innovation in fintech, blockchain, and distributed ledger technology, DLT. If we look in the Arab world, as per the recent statistic released by Arab Monetary Fund, over 330 fintech solutions are operating across 22 countries of the Arab world. However, 84% of these are concentrated in 7 countries. Out of these, 24% fintech solutions, that is the majority, are from UAE, which indicate our commitment to driving advancement through financial technology, that is fintech. The objective of the UAE leadership is to promote smart infrastructure of the nation. The 2 supporting pillars of our fintech ecosystem are laws, policies, and regulations, as well as funding, which require open dialogue between stakeholders, followed by customer-centric governance initiatives, thus mitigating regulatory risk and preventing regulatory arbitrage, in effect, encouraging investments. I believe this hackathon will be an enabler in this perspective, as it will facilitate innovators, financial institutions, regulators, and other ecosystem partners in the UAE to collaborate and crowdsource prototypes to usher in new age innovative solutions for an efficient and effective financial services ecosystem under the umbrella of the SCA. To facilitate this initiative, the SCA has signed and entered into an MOU of understanding, which is a memorandum of understanding MOU with Fintech Galaxy Limited to run this Meigathon and their platform FinX22. This mega innovation program will be aimed at furthering the advancement and development of the fintech technology and industry in the UAE. This Meigathon will run from May 2021 till February 2022 on 2 sprints and will include hackathons, training, workshops, and innovation challenges. Held under the overarching theme of reimagining the future of inclusive financial services, the SCA Fintech Meigathon 2021 will focus on finding solutions for or under 8 thematic areas, as mentioned by Myrna: asset management, investment advisory, digital asset, crypto exchanges, crowdfunding, forex, eKYC, SME financing, financial inclusion, and SupTech and RegTech. I take this opportunity to acknowledge the team at Fintech Galaxy for its effort and our strategic partner, Abu Dhabi Securities Exchange, ADX, First Abu Dhabi Bank, FAB, Emaar, and United Arab Bank, UAB, for collaborating with us for the first of its kind nationwide Meigathon. We promise you unwavering support from ISCA during the tenure of the program and thereafter to help accomplish our shared objectives. All the best. Thank you.
Let's hear from our strategic partners now. We have around 20 minutes. We're going to invite Mr. Ahmed Abu Aid, CEO of United Arab Bank, Mr. Saeed Al-Dahiri, CEO of Abu Dhabi Securities Exchange, and Mr. Yuri Misnik, Group CTO, CIO of FAB, to join us on this exciting panel. So we discussed the hackathon, the megathon, and the impact on the economy as a whole. Let me start with Mr. Ahmed. You being a bank based out of Sharjah and a bank that's as old as the United Arab Emirates, how important is this megathon for you as an institution, and what do you see the impact of this megathon on the UAE economy as a whole and the financial sector in particular?
Well, thank you very much, Mirna. Assalamu alaikum معاليك وأصحاب السعادة جميعا. ألف شكر للدعوة الرائعة بحضور هذه الافتتاح. Mirna, thank you for a very important question. Till recent, I wouldn't have seen a huge impact. There is an impact, but today, seeing their excellencies personally taking this forward and sponsoring it, I think this is the right thing to do, especially with a regulator like ESCA in particular. I mean, ESCA's core job is to supervise the financial markets in the UAE and the fixed income, the equity markets. But with a regulator like ESCA taking the step and actually sponsoring innovation in the UAE, it will have a huge impact. This is for sure. On a macroeconomic basis, I will not repeat what their excellencies just mentioned now. They gave us a lot of numbers and statistics. UAE deserves to maintain pole position as far as the whole of the Middle East and even the subcontinent when it comes to innovation. Now, UAE has always been one of the innovation hubs in the region, but specifically on fintechs, if I may zoom in on fintechs, financial inclusion, regulation, and what have you, I think there's much more room for improvement. But with this initiative by the government, it will take the UAE to that pole position the UAE deserves. So on a macroeconomic basis, I think this is planting the seeds for the future growth and getting the UAE where it deserves to be, as I mentioned. In my personal opinion, it will have major implications, major positive implications on the macro economy of the UAE as an innovation hub and an enabler for creative minds to come to this lovely country and start doing their business in the UAE and taking it further and ahead. Now, I know there's a follow-on question from you, Mirna, so I'll just go ahead and shoot. As far as I'm, the appetite, our appetite to join hands with fintechs. معالي السيد عبد الله واختي سعادة الدكتورة مريم. I'm happy that Fintech Galaxy in particular is managing this lovely meeting. And we in United Arab Bank are about on the brink of a very big transformational project. Inshallah, I would love to talk to you personally about it. Having my regulators on this lovely panel. Of course, we're a listed company with Abu Dhabi Stock Exchange, of course, regulated by ESCA, and very proud. But Fintech Galaxy, we've just partnered with them in particular to join us on this lovely journey of full transformation of United Arab Bank into the first challenger bank in the whole of the region, and a very capable company, Fintech Galaxy. So actually, we have joined hands with fintechs, and we do want to, of course, expand this in the future. Our digital transformation journey starts just started about a month ago, and it will include joining hands with a lot of fintechs on the way. Our preference will always be UAE-based fintechs. No special sort of preference to which emirate, be it Sharjah, be it Dubai, be it Abu Dhabi, but UAE-based. And we do want to, of course, support UAE-based fintechs in such unique projects. So thank you very much, Mirna, for the question.
Thank you, Ahmed, and we're pleased and honored to be partnering with you, and thank you for the trust. Moving now to ADX, Mr. Saeed, it's rare that we find an exchange actually going ahead and really spearheading that innovation on capital markets. I mean, looking at the region, we haven't seen an exchange going through a megathon of this sort at a national level. How important is it for ADX to actually partner with fintechs and innovators like Mr. Ahmed mentioned regarding UAB? So how important is it for ADX, and what are the pain points or the themes, or as we call them on the platform, the problem statements that you're going to be calling for or scouting for innovators to collaborate with on?
Thank you, Mirna. Allow me first to thank His Excellency Abdullah bin Tawq al-Mar'i, Minister of Economy, and Her Excellency Mariam Bati Suwaidi, the acting CEO of ESCA, for their kind invitation to ADX to partake in this event. It is a pleasure to be here today and for ADX to take part in Fintech Hackathon 2021. So answering your question, adapting the most advanced technologies and embracing the latest digital solutions is an approach embedded in ADX strategy since its inception. This strategy paved the way for significant growth we have reached so far. We also believe it has empowered our investors to make better investment decisions through elevating their financial literacy levels. In ADX, we completely understand the benefits of investing in a secured, digitalized environment. By participating in this event, we are keen to explore the concept of providing retail investors with the right platform, tools, and applications they require to research the wide variety of investment prospects available. The solution we will use the artificial intelligence powered methods that should help investors collect and analyze trading data. It should also help them understand and make use of the data in a meaningful way. In ADX, we firmly believe the financial literacy is a key to strengthening and deepening the financial market, allowing access for more individuals to suitable digital application. The easier it would be for us as a stock market to shed light on the vast investment opportunities ADX offers. Thank you.
Thank you, Saeed. Yuri, you breathe innovation and fintech inside out, and you as a CIO and CTO and FAB, of course. I want to touch upon one particular element, which is, I'm sure everybody on this panel and everybody who's going to watch this recording will wonder regarding the upskilling of talent. I mean, it's very easy to go and innovate. It's very easy to launch megathons, but how do you bring the talent? And here, I'm not talking only about the bank employees, your board, your management, your shareholders. How do you bring them into a mindset shift that actually makes your life much easier as a bank?
Thank you, Mirna, and thank you, Your Excellencies, for the introduction. It's really a pleasure to be here. We strongly believe in First Abu Dhabi Bank that technology is probably the only competitive differentiator in the modern world, both for the company, but also for the country, and building the skills and capabilities in the engineering ecosystem, but also in the management and in the business it's super critical for us. And we've been doing a lot of work here, and we truly believe that the initiative like that we have today, with the Megathon running on a national level, is super critical, not just because it's focusing on fintechs, but because it has government and regulatory institutions participating in this work and essentially enabling people to move faster, enable new ideas to go to the market faster, and sort of attracting and bringing more international talent and international ideas and international thinking into the market. We've been doing quite a lot of work with the global ecosystem of fintechs, and we're also taking some of these ideas and bringing them in-house. So for us, this is not only an opportunity to work with the best community of innovators in the country, but also to take some of these ideas and bring them into FIB, run internal hackathons. We're also launching a program called a guild. We have a cloud guild, we have a data and AI guild, which essentially trains our business, our employers, our management in modern technologies and modern ways of doing business, and maybe non-traditional ways of engaging with customers, which essentially the market is seeing. And for us, we're also thinking about how do we take our traditional business and maybe pivot it towards some sort of a joint venture, joint engagement with the fintech companies, and sort of inject talent into the bank. But also what's important for us is to have the other flow. We do believe that the fintech ecosystem is strongly benefit from people who understand how traditional financial systems work, so that they can actually take the existing processes, break them, disassemble them, and create something really, really different. So joining together sort of the knowledge of the traditional banking, traditional financial services with the very, very disruptive ideas, and also having the very meaningful and very encouraging regulatory participation, government participation on this. I think this is probably unique for the world and unique for the country, and we definitely believe that it will going to drive it through. And we'll see more and more technical talent choosing UAE as its home, and allowing us to move faster and move better.
Thank you, Yuri. One follow-up question regarding the prototyping, and this is a question that always comes to play. You go through the Megathon, you pick the fintechs that you want to collaborate with, but then closing the loop and taking that into a prototype that actually works, into a POC, into production, is sometimes the biggest challenge. How do you usually do that, and what is the importance of having a technical sandbox on a platform like Phoenix 22? Does that make things much easier for you?
Absolutely, and having a safe environment where you can try and test what's being developed and connect it to your systems, connect it to real data, real customer data, real APIs is super critical for us. And I think it's sort of the whole open banking stream of work, which we're seeing in many, many places, sort of is inevitably driving us towards this sort of sandboxes, which need to exist on a country level, on the individual organization level, to allow actually rapid prototyping, rapid testing, and without risking the whole market population. So that's super critical for us. We also believe that that cloud is another super important technology driver for that type of partnership, which allows you to create environments faster, which allows you to provision resources for fintechs and partners to come and do something with you without having this large procurement cycle, without having a large commitment. Because in my view, the whole point of partnership with fintechs is have experimentation. And experimentations means some things will not work. And we're actually very good with that. In fact, we're thinking about how do we set up a metric in the company, engaging with the external ecosystem, where we can actually measure how many times we fail in a good way, because fail for us is ability to learn, is ability to understand, and also I think it's an ability for a fintech companies on the other side to understand how to tune and how to adjust and how to pivot their offerings. So having this safe environment, which still has sufficient controls and protection for whatever customer data we're putting there, but allows on the other side to move much faster, maybe through automated controls, maybe through standardized APIs, through appropriate blessing from the regulators and the governing entities, it's super, super important for us. And in fact, if we look back and see why the big initiatives like Barclays had a really big one in the UK for a while, Deutsche Bank had the labs and fintech ecosystem maybe for 10 years. Why did it fail and struggle? Mostly because of this lack of ability to take an idea and put it to real customers. And having the sandbox, as we're suggesting here, and we're preparing to use it here, is absolutely one of the key pillars of the success.
Thank you. And we welcome FAB, UAB, and ADX to our technical sandbox. And I'm sure ESCA will be waiting for all the applicants for your regulatory sandbox as well, which is, mashallah, is making a lot of traction so far. Your Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, thank you a lot for your time today. And we're super excited to be partnering with you as Fintech Galaxy in this amazing journey. Inshallah, going forward, we're going to be telling the world some really amazing stories from the United Arab Emirates. بأمان الله.